Hi everyone, it's John Mitchell, and in today's video, we're going to explore the operations for both manufacturing and service businesses. And to do this, what we're going to do is look at how both types of operations are similar and then look at some of the key differences between them because there are some real differences between how they operate. So, to begin, we're going to start off with the similarities between manufacturing and service operations. So, one of the key similarities is that they both utilize the three elements of the operation system. So they still go through the inputs, processes, and outputs. They also aim to produce high quality outputs for customers. And also the way the operations works, it has a large impact on in terms of the quality of the product that's produced and also the price of the product that is produced. So there's some of the similarities. Now we're going to look at some of the key differences. And as we do this, I'm going to talk about inputs, processes, and outputs and categorize them in those sort of categories as well, just in case you do get a question about that. So the first difference is about capital and labor intensity. So manufacturing businesses, they tend to be more capital intensive, relying on heavy machinery and equipment for their inputs, whereas service businesses, they're often more labor intensive, and so they're using more human inputs and expertise to deliver the service. So for processes, one of the key differences is customer involvement. So a manufacturing business, the processes typically have minimal customer involvement. For example, at a car manufacturing facility, if a customer orders a car, they are not going to be at the manufacturing facility involved in the processes of the production of that car. However, in a training business, during the processes of actually performing the training, well, the customer is going to be involved in that in order to receive the training and the education that they require. Now, sticking with the processes, another difference is around production and consumption. So, in a manufacturing business, production processes and consumption are separated. So, for example, when a couch is produced, the production occurs, and then the consumption of sitting and using that couch occurs later on. Whereas in a service business, the production and consumption often occur simultaneously. For example, during the process of getting a haircut, the process or the production of that haircut and the consumption of actually receiving the haircut occur at the same time. If we move to the outputs, manufacturing businesses produce tangible outputs, meaning that they can be touched or handled, like Lego blocks, whereas service businesses are delivering intangible outputs, meaning they can't be touched or handled, such as a medical consultation or educational services that can't be touched and handled. Another difference with the outputs is the storage capability. So, manufactured goods can be stored and sold at a later date, whereas services can't do that. They cannot be stored. For example, a restaurant that has empty seats at a particular time, they can't store those seats and sell them at a later time. They have evaporated because they cannot be stored. So, just to recap, the operations of manufacturing and service businesses do share some similarities, but there are definitely some distinct differences. Now, manufacturing businesses create tangible outputs that can be stored. There's minimal customer involvement during the processes. There's separation between production and consumption of the output, between the processes and the output. There's a heavy reliance on machinery and equipment. On the other hand, service businesses produce intangible outputs that can't be stored. They involve customers heavily during the processes, combine the production and consumption, and depend heavily on human labor and information for their inputs to produce the actual output. So that's it for this video. Can't wait to see you in the next video where we're going to start looking at the different strategies to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of a business's operations. But until then, just remember that for questions, activities, and helping your VCE journey, then come on over to teachingbubble.com.